Right then, so hello everybody, Mr. Whippify here, and today I'm bringing you a video on the Canon EOS 77D.
Looks like we've come to the end of the road. There's no point in running away now. I'd rather sleep until the storm is gone. She'd rather be shooting at me now. I know it will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, ready to fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. Like a blink of an eye's not enough. She'd rather be staying for days now. I'd rather fix it than mess up again.
You might also notice that it's in 4K, mainly because I'm not filming off my main camera, I'm actually filming off my phone, because it is the better camera to use, I found out, than all the other cameras I have in my house. So this video is going to be a lot more crisper, and the first time I'm ever using 4K in a video. This will probably be the last time using 4K. This is only once. The only reason why I'm using 4K in this video is to have a sharper image, since I am just filming off my phone, so I don't want it looking phone 1080p look. So yes, this camera, I've had it since December the 25th for my Christmas present. This camera is absolutely amazing. Records up to 1080p, 60 frames per second, also 1080p 30, and it goes downwards. This camera does not have 4K features. As we know, Canon uses 4K into their cameras at a luxury market sale. So unfortunately, this one isn't exactly the highest camera brand they do. So like the top range stuff they do, like the 5D and the 6D. Other than this one is an enthusiastic level camera. Which is basically a little brother of the ACD, if you put it in terms of that way. As you usually do get with this Canon, you get all the basic Canon options. So with this Canon being an enthusiastic camera, you do get a top LCD screen. I absolutely love this, since I don't have to keep looking back at my LCD screen, searching for all the options, as they are all on this top screen. This also helps getting low shots to the floor, helps you to be able to get low shots to the floor, helping you, well, you don't have to tilt your screen to look at everything. Yes, like with pretty much all the new D series cameras, they come with flippy screens, so you can tilt them about to whatever direction you want, and you can put it back into place like that. Or to save the screen, unlike me, I do have a screen protector on here, so I always just keep it back like that. If you don't have a screen protector, you can always flip it out, that way, close it, and your screen is now protected from scratches. Only your plastic is now prone to scratches, that's the only issue. Structural feel of this camera is, I've got to say, for a plastic camera, the whole thing to be plastic, except for the lens mount, which is all metal ringed, and this button here being all metal, it's really solid. There's no creaking, press everywhere, there's no creaking noises, and the plastic feels high quality, I'll have to admit. This sort of like rubberized, plasticky feeling, it feels rubberized, definitely adds the quality factor to this. It feels much more structurally sound, and just offers a much more better feel in your hand. And this camera isn't actually heavy at all, it's so light, which is why I absolutely love using it. And the pictures and images, video you get is just absolutely phenomenal. So as in terms of spec wise, this camera has a Digit 7 processor. I believe their Digit 8 is the highest at the minute, so it's one below, since this camera is a several-year-old model. You also get 24.1 megapixels on this beast, which is, I have to admit, huge files. They're going to be absolutely huge files when you take photos at 24 megapixels and RAW. They are huge files and very hard to try and compress, as you don't want to lose too much detail but also maintain enough storage. You know, I've actually have to buy a bigger SD card. I used to use a 32 gigabyte SanDisk, now I'm having to use a 64 alternative. So yeah. This camera also has a 7 FPS burst, which is actually quick enough what you need. In terms of quickness, I find these new like Sony cameras coming out with 29 FPS camera shooting burst now. This one seems to be just fantastic still. The 29 FPS, I find you're just searching through so many images. Like, it takes more time. Fewer photos gives you less time to really think about, you know, just really taking in loads of time, filtering through like hundreds of images when you've got like 50 on a burst like on here. So yes, this camera also has dual pixel autofocus, which is what Canon is famous for. Dual pixel autofocus works throughout all the resolutions on this camera, other than the M50 that doesn't work in 4K. The dual pixel autofocus on the M50 doesn't work in 4K. This works in all the resolutions, so you wouldn't be disappointed about not having dual pixel autofocus. As for plugins for this camera, you do get a microphone jack, which is what I was missing on my last camera, which is the main reason why I had to upgrade to DSLR, also for interchangeable lenses. We also do get a HDMI input, bearing in mind this, I do believe, is a mini HDMI port. There we go. I'm sorry if my phone doesn't focus. I don't know if it's in focus, but if it is, then yeah. But this is a mini HDMI port with a USB port. I don't know what type it is, and it also comes with a switch, well, a plug, another micro jack to plug in accessories like external shutter buttons. But I don't see the point of this, since this camera does have Wi-Fi and inbuilt Bluetooth. You can connect up your phone, it's so easily done, and you can even live view your camera to your phone, so you don't have to get, if you're doing like long exposure for example, you don't have to touch the camera at all. You can just load it up on your phone and just take the picture from there and do all the settings on your phone. You don't have to touch the camera. So as for SD card slots, unfortunately you only get one, but that is common with these cameras, these types of cameras, as when you go up in price like the 5D and the 6D, you get at least 2 SD card slots, which do help in some cases of things unlikely to corrupt. But I found out that since I bought this new SD card, which is a Extra Pro SanDisk card up to 170 megabits, this is very reliable, and it's just absolutely fantastic. I have absolutely no problems with it. So as to terms of actually using the camera, it's so easy to use. There's hardly any, like, it's not confusing. Everything's just there. Everything's up top. Also, this is locked by this little switch. You have to hold it down and move it about. But everything is just so easy to use. You've got your aperture, and then you got your shutter, which is usually on this button when you're in full manual. You've got your ISO buttons on top, your viewfinder modes on the top as well, and you also, for the top LCD, you do have a light when you're in dark situations. If you can't see the top LCD, you just switch that on, and it brightens it up. So as for switching on this camera, it could be a bit annoying sometimes. If you use too much force when switching on the camera, it could just automatically go into video mode, slowing down your process of taking a photo if you wanted to take a photo. But otherwise, you do get used to it. You get used to the amount of pressure you need to do to just turn on the camera and not go into video mode. I kind of do wish it was sort of on this wheel, the video mode, because it just saves me from not flicking over too far when I don't want to be in video. Since the mirror has to move up, it just slows down the whole process. Okay, so I'm going to do a test on the Canon 77D with its inbuilt audio mic. Bearing in mind they are on the front, so if you were moving across like this and there was wind coming towards the camera, it's more prone to get loads of wind noise, this camera, I have noticed. If you watched my... Right, okay, sorry, the video just cut out for some reason. I don't think my phone likes 4K too much. This is the first time doing it, so this is it. So yeah, if you watched my video on the Abath meet, you'll notice that loads of wind was hitting the microphone and it was just making an awful racket, which I tried editing out a little bit because of the new software I got, but it was just too much, and it was just, you can't do it, it was just blown. But I wanted to get a video out for you guys, so there you go. So yeah, I'm going to go show you some photos. I'm going to show you the video first, and then I'm going to show you some photos of what I managed to get with this camera. As I did take these photos, these were for a school project for my GCSE, and I managed to get Distinction Star, which I was so happy for it. Highest grade possible for these photos. So I hope you guys really like these photos and this video. And yeah, I'll come back to you guys later. Okay, so this is the audio test on the Canon 77D out here. It's quite bright, so the aperture is going to go really small on the camera because I've got it all on automatic shutter and aperture at the minute, just so I can just film out in front of me because I can't control the camera when I'm in front of it. I do believe the audio in this camera is actually pretty good. Other than the wind noise, it's alright. I've just had a scare because I've just been recording on my phone here. It's in my pocket in a minute, but I've been recording on my phone here and it froze on me while recording. So I really do hope that footage does get saved. If it doesn't, I'm gonna have to redo it and I'm gonna be really annoyed. This is the audio test and video quality. This is 1080p 30, not 60. No need at the minute because I'm not doing any slow motion, and it is pretty bright out here, which actually 60 FPS probably would be better out here, but it wouldn't be smooth as this. So yeah, that's audio and that's video. So lastly, before I end this video, I do use these two lenses right here. This one is my zoom lens, which also has macro features, which is mainly where I get my macro photography from. The macro feature only works at 250mm on this lens, but it does get in close, I'm telling you that. This one also does have the same aperture features as that one. This one goes up to f4 to 5.6, which isn't bad on a zoom lens. That's actually like that's like pretty good on the zoom lens. And also to get my bokeh shots, I use the Canon 50mm 1.8. This one I love because this one, other than this lens, has a plastic mount on the inside. I won't take off the cap because I don't want dust in it. Yeah, this one has a plastic mount and this one has a metal mount, which will last a lot easier. As to those, the plastic mounts are a little bit more prone to snapping, but as long as you're careful, like me, I'm really precious about my camera, you should be okay. They're pretty durable, to be honest with you. I've never, well, these are the only lenses I've had, and touch wood, no wood around me, they've never broken on me, which is glad because they're a lot of money and they're not cheap. But otherwise, I wanted to say that these lenses are absolutely fantastic. The autofocus on this one is quite noisy, so if you did want to do video on it, I usually stick it on manual focus. The only problem is, if you stick it on manual focus and then record at 1.8, if the subject moves literally a tiny bit, it's out of focus just because of how narrow or short its depth of field is. Compared to shooting at f4, you can stick it at manual focus and then have a little bit of leeway in the focus range. It'll still be out of focus, but you won't really notice it that well. Okay, so thank you for watching, guys. I hope this helps. This is not a full review, this is just an overlook on the Canon 77D. How good is it for this year? And I do believe this should be still a good camera for 2019, because we all haven't converted to 4K screens yet. We're still all on 1080p. Some people will have 4K screens, but we wouldn't have invested everybody to invest all their money in 4K screens nowadays. 1080p is so popular and has been the standard resolution on TVs for ages. I did say this in my Canon G1X Mark II video, that 1080p is not going anytime soon, and I still don't see it going anytime soon, even in June. So yes, this camera is just perfect for anybody who wants to start doing photography or filmmaking, as I do believe this offers everything in one package in a reasonably priced camera. Still was quite expensive, as that I got the kit version with this lens, the 18 to 55mm lens at f4 to 5.6. I'm surprised how good this lens is, actually. This is Canon's standard lens. It's actually their holiday compact one, and it actually offers, it's so sharp, it's actually really sharp, it's unreal. Compared to L lenses, I really can't see a difference. The only reason I see me getting a new lens is for a wider aperture, so I can get more bokeh in my images. As you can see, my phone is constantly going autofocusing all the time because it doesn't know what to focus on, and that's the Moto X4 for you. But as you can see, there's no blurriness behind me. There's probably a little bit, but that's because it's well, the aperture's stuck at f2 on there, but it was a really small sensor, so you don't get a lot of light in. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This camera is still fit for 2017, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.